So the first thing to making a drift car is obviously buying the car. And it doesn't really matter which car you buy in this game as long as it's not something too crazy, like something like the Warthog. It's going to be a whole lot harder to drift than like a regular car. Or let's say if we go to Mercedes, the huge trucks are also more difficult to drift than a car. You may be able to drift with like something like the 6x6 G class, but it'll just be a whole lot harder, especially since it has two more tires to spin. So for this video, I'm gonna use a BMW Z4 Roadster. I have never built a drift tune on this thing at all, so this is going to completely new. I'm just gonna keep it orange, I guess. So for a basic drift tune, the game already does most of the stuff for you because of how they added drift particular parts. So like if you go under tuning and upgrade and custom upgrade, they already have things like drift tires. Where are they at? Drift tires. They already have them in the game for you. So let's go over each section. So the engine swap, it doesn't really matter if you choose an engine swap or not. You can just upgrade your base engine. You can get a more powerful engine. It's completely up to you on which engine you use. And for the drivetrain, you can use rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, but it's harder to drift a front-wheel drive than anything. And with the all-wheel drive, you can still tune the differential, which we'll get into later, and you can tune how much power gets pushed to the back, so you can do rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. For today's example, I'm going to be using the rear-wheel drive because it's quite just basic. Under aero and appearance, oh, I pressed the wrong button. Under aero and appearance, you can do absolutely anything you want. A lot of drift cars typically have wings. You do not have to have a wing at all, but this is just customization, basically. And now under the tires and rims, like I said earlier, there's a drift tire compound. You're going to want to go ahead and put that on. With tire width, you can upgrade the fronts if you'd want to. I usually upgrade it once, maybe twice, because drifting is all about losing traction. But the rear wheels, I would only upgrade once. Like, that's what I would personally do. And then you would want to do the spacing in the tires. You'd want to get them out wider. And then under the drivetrain, you can upgrade your clutch. Definitely upgrade to a race transmission. You do not have to use the transitional tire gears, but at least upgrade to a race transmission. You can do your driveline, and the diff is another place where they have it set for you, a drift differential. Let's go ahead and buy that. Under platform and handling, the only thing here that allows us to drift better is the drift suspension, and as you can see, that lowers our car and makes our wheels go kind of sideways. That's called camber. So go ahead and upgrade everything else. You do not need to do a chassis unless you like the way it looks. It makes the car heavier, which in turn makes it a little bit harder to drift. Go ahead and get your weight reduction. And you can go ahead and upgrade the engine all the way if you want. You don't have to upgrade it all the way, but it's just your preference, how much money you got. Try and upgrade the flywheel because it makes the car rev up faster. But see, I'm not even going to upgrade everything in the engine, and we're just going to go ahead and, oh, wrong button. We're going to go ahead and purchase everything. So this right here is the stock Z4 that we just made. I have not touched the tune at all. You can look at the tune right here. I have not touched it at all. And so I'm just going to show you how it is without any tune. So right now, I lowered the volume of the car. This is a voiceover. This is post, and so basically, what I'm saying right now is the gears actually seem quite perfect in this car. Fourth gear seems like a golden gear. Fifth gear is kind of like longer corners, and it just seems perfect already with the gear layout. Although there is other stuff we can do in the tuning section. I'm actually going to try and mess up the gears later just to show you how to fix them if you do need to fix them. And we are going to start tuning about like right here. So usually you want to have lower tire pressure in the front so your front can grip up and pull you, and then lower or higher tire pressure in the rear so your tire can just spin. That's typically how you want to go. And mainly what the gearing section is you have to play with it. It's very fiddly because sometimes your gears are too long, sometimes they're too short. It just depends on what gears you want to be in also. So like you can drift in first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, whatever gear you want. However, you need to make sure that you can spin your wheels enough at a given gear so that you can actually drift. So I'll come back to that in a minute. So for Camber, the drift suspension already did a lot for us. The front camber is fully maxed out, which means the tires are really angled. And the rear is just a little bit, you can mess with the rear a little bit. I'm just going to, for example, I'm going to put it to 2. I don't really mess with toe or the front or the rear toe. The angle caster, you can mess with it a tiny bit, but honestly, the drift suspension does a lot for you. It already makes it kind of perfect. So basically, for anything that is basically soft or stiff, that's roll bars, the springs, the damping, all of this, you want it to be soft so you absorb all of the bumps in the road, and so make sure you don't, the car doesn't go flying while you're trying to drift. The springs are probably the most important part to soften so you don't jump in the middle of a drift. Dampings, you can just lower them a bit. I don't recommend lowering them all the way because it makes it too soft. There is a difference between being too soft and just regular soft. So I don't recommend going all the way soft. Aero, we don't have any aero parts, so we can't use that. Braking force, don't even really touch it. Now the differential. And here's the difference between all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. So in rear-wheel drive, you obviously just have a rear diff. And the rear diff is locked. You can go ahead and set it to 100 and 0. The differential already kind of sets it to be locked. But for all-wheel drive, you'll have a front section and a balance. I forget what it may be balance, maybe something else. But it basically tells you how much percentage is going to the front, how much percentage is going to the back. So if you have an all-wheel drive car, you do want to take the balance and put it mostly on to the rear. I would say anywhere from 80% to like 100% is where you want to be. And then I don't think the front really matters. You can keep the front differential, acceleration to acceleration, however, the same. And make sure the rear is locked, just like this. And let's go back to the gearing section, because this is where it kind of gets fiddly. It's not super duper, like, hard. However, you can see your gears down here, and you can see how long and how short they are. Like, our 1, 2, 3, 4th gear looks pretty short. So what you can actually go and do is you can go in and drag this a little bit, and it makes it longer. And then that made 5th short. That's how it goes. See? Each one has like a length between them, and that corresponds to the chart. So you'll have to play with this based on how you like. Like, let's see if you can. Hey, it's voiceover again, and yeah, I'm just using new recording software, so I actually didn't know the game audio was this loud. But anyway, right about now I am talking about the gears and how to see if they're like perfect and everything. And as we can still see, actually making fourth gear longer made it a whole lot better. So before it was really good to be in fourth gear, and now it's even better to be in fourth gear because it can just push way more around corners. And it makes fifth gear slightly worse at drifting. However, you can still use it in long corners. It just has to have enough power to be able to push it through fifth gear. And I'm just going to go ahead and right now I am retuning the car. We're going to mess up the gears real quick. Third gear is usable. So if we did want to make third gear usable, let me show you what you can do. So our third gear is, you can see on the chart, it's highlighted in red. Our third gear is really just at the start of everything. So if we wanted to change that, we could lower it, then lower the gear after it also. Alright, so hopefully for the last time I am here, but in the tuning section we made it so we can use third gear because we made third gear longer, we made fourth gear longer, and now we're able to use third and fourth gear. Third gear for shorter corners, fourth gear for longer corners, and overall I think this may be the best setup that we've had. It drifts just the way you want it to drift. It's going around corners, the back tires are smoking. And yeah, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just let the video roll out until we change cars, which is going to happen soon. Kind of recreated it from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Oh, the mouse is in the way. So this is also a car I just built, like, I think yesterday. It's pretty good. It's obviously not the best. I think the best drift in the game right now is actually the Willis Jeep. Yeah, Willis Jeep. Got an Isetta. But, yeah, this car is still pretty good. Chill out and drift. So this is the outro here. I just want to thank all you guys for watching the videos. I've got a couple more views than I usually get from posting a couple of these Forza Horizon videos, from showing how to unlock the cars and showing me driving them. And I just want to say thank you. And if there's anything else you guys want to see me do, please leave it in the comments. If you have any ideas, if you want to see drift builds, if you want to see drag builds, I can show you how to make drag tunes. I can do anything else. I can show you barn finds. Whatever you guys want, just leave it in the comments below. It would mean a whole lot if you could subscribe and like the video. I really do like doing YouTube, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave any suggestions down below. I'm sorry I had to do the voiceover. I am using a new recording software. I have to figure out how to balance voice and video in that. And anyway, I hope you guys have a good day, and adios.